Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. Sorry I couldn't post anything last week, but I've been busy clearing out the den, the cloakroom in the flat here, and that took most of my time, and I just wasn't in the mood once I finished. Packing case had to be moved out of the way. It's been there for nearly 40 years, and it was a bloody mess when I got it out anyway. I've done some looking around on the internet for topics for this MGTOW section of my channel, and I came across this. Historical low birth rate explained in 3 charts. US women are having fewer and fewer babies. In some ways it's a sign of progress. Written by a woman called Julia Bellows. Well, a woman would say that, wouldn't she? But it's mostly just a woman-centric article about the number of births dropping. Americans are having so few babies these days that the fertility rate is at a historic low, according to a stunning data from Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Apparently, the number of births in America is now below replacement level, and if anything like Japan, it's going to go lower. It goes on about the fertility rates, yada yada yada, and teenagers are not in America. It's plummeting with teen birth rate, which is a good sign, as girls don't want to have a baby when they're 14 or 15. That's essentially statutory rape, how they got pregnant. And as you can see, going down, here's all the post-war women. It's just creeping up a little bit, but that's mostly thanks to medical advances. Here is women in the most fertile period. As you can see, it's declining. And post-war women within sight of the wall, women past the wall, and of course, women long past the wall, and it's over the horizon in a rearview mirror. It says there are various reasons for this, as Vox explained. The major one, we have better access to birth control. You notice we, because it's a woman who wrote it. Women these days are just as likely to be sexually active, i.e. riding a cock carousel, as they were in the past, but how they use contraceptives have changed. And it just tells about the newer contraceptives. Surprise, surprise, women given the technology has allowed them to control their fertility, led to fewer teen pregnancies, all well and good. And this dramatic drop, blah, blah, blah. In this chart, you'll notice another related good news story. The birth rate has actually increased for older moms, age 35 to 44, but women who get in that age, the babies tend to be it's touch and go whether there's any defects in the baby, because they're no longer in the fertile period, and it's only become pregnant, as I said, because of an increase of technology. Nowhere in this does it mention men. Women want to have a better economic platform on which to launch their families. People who have more to lose invest more in planning and prevention. And then it goes on to the economy. Now there's something down here which is interesting. Where is it? The baby bust isn't just cause for panic just yet, but if the trend decline continues, which it looks like it's going to, and the US hits the low fertility rates of Japan and Italy, we will need to address the predicaments of advanced aging and losses in the labour force. And this means lawmakers, i.e. the little local politicians, need to grapple with policies that address the demographic shift. To do that, a guy called John Rowe of Columbia University laid out a few potential approaches. One is keeping older people in the workforce longer, Well, the pension age here in Britain has increased up to 68. I'm not stopping beyond 66 when I reach retirement age. Sod that. The second is technology using automation, robots and artificial intelligence to boost productivity. Well, that's already happening here. A third is increasing immigration. Lots of brown-skinned dirt scratchers are not going to increase the economy. They haven't got the training, some of them are illiterate, and it's just not on. The final is boosting the fertility rate. Well, the strong, independent women who don't need no men, they're not going to have that. They're too busy riding the cock carousel, except to only see the wall approach, and then they want to get pregnant with baby rabies. Then it goes on about a little more detail. It's going to take 20 years for this to get into policy into place and change employers' attitudes. Well, I'll be in my 80s by then, so I don't care. 70% of US mothers work outside the home today. That's because you need 2 wages to run a family in America, where in the baby boom years, you only need 1. Said Caitlin Collins. So it's like a woman's name. She got a link. Yep, that's her. Just as I thought. Back. A professor of sociology, pink and fluffy, and gender studies at Washington University in St. Louis. After having a baby, parents need time to recover and care for the child. The US lacks federal provision for both. She added, in my mind, leaving it to individual women to take private market-based solutions is insufficient. There's Donald. Americans remain divided on Trump's removal. Yeah, he's not going to be removed. He's going to win the next election anyway by a landslide. Anyway, back to the article. In my mind, leaving it individual women. For why we're seeing continued declines in US fertility in the US, so addressing this for women may not only further improve their status, it could help stabilize the fertility rate too. I've also, in tandem with this, found this article on the Washington Post dated January 20th, 2020, which was about last week. Women in the United States are having fewer babies than ever before, creating a fertility rate of 1.73 births per mother, which is more or less on line with Italy and maybe just a bit above Japan. Let's see what this link brings up. National Statistics dated January 10th, 2020. Now, I was born 1956, which is about here, so just on the drop of the baby boomer peak. But remember, guys, feminism first wave started around here, 1970, 1973, and the burn your bra and women's liberation movement and all that, and it went downhill. They picked up a little bit, 90, then we got the second wave of feminism, and down it went again, till it peaked here. Then we get the third wave of feminism, and look at that drop. Now, MGTOW more or less started around here. And guys decided, sod this for a lark, I'm having nothing more to do with relationships because the game is decked not in my favour. So it dicked a bit. The shaming language started round about here, so it just, a few guys went back to the plantation, but since 2010 MGTOW really kicked in, and look at the result. So it looks like we are having a sort of effect. After all, of course I'll put all these links below so you can have a proper read of them yourself. But anyway, back to this article. According to data from the National Vital Statistics System that was analysed by the Centres for Disease Control and Prevention, don't know what that has to do with fertility, but anyway, the fertility rate peaked in 1957 when I was 1 at 3.77 births per woman, declined to 1.84 births in 1980, when second wave feminism was coming in, slightly increased to 2008 by 1990. That's when a few guys went back to the plantation, started declining again in 2007 when third world feminism kicked in, reaching the record low at the end of 2018. Again, in this article, not a single mention of MGTOW. The 1.73 number is below what is considered the replacement rate, which is 2.1 births per woman. The agency report did not address reasons the fertility rate has fallen. Well, I could tell you, third wave feminism, and guys saying, sod this, I'm not going to get involved with a woman to play child maintenance for the next 18 years after she's kicked me out of my home. But other data in the report show that women are having children later in life. Yeah, baby rabies, with fewer births than the past from the teen years, like I said in the other article, and more births than in the past from the ages 33, 35 to 44. The women post-war, modern medicine says they can get pregnant and they've got baby rabies. The best years of passed when they were riding a cock carousel, and the fertility rate's going down. So that's what that's about. The age at which women first become mothers is also increasing. Today, US women are on average 26.4 years old when they have their first child. They're reaching the end of their most fertile period. For 6 years they've been riding the cock carousel. Or if they started at 18, 8 years, maybe 9 years riding a cock carousel, but now they're ready to settle down with a good man, a beater, and have a baby, according to a Pew Research Centre study. What link does that bring up? US women are 2018 is written. US women are postponing motherhood, but not as much as those in most other developed nations. And that can go. Women in the United States are waiting longer to have children than in the past, but they are still starting their families sooner and ultimately having more children. Yeah, but are these white women in America or women with brown skins in America? The average age at which US women first become mothers is 26.4, like the other article. Again, and it goes into massive statistics of fertility, and it was written by a woman. Not one single word is mentioned about men. Not once the M word, because MGTOW is not mentioned at all. All it is about women. No mention about if men want to become fathers and have children. All centered around women. But this seems to show that we are having an effect, as we're not producing any children because of the feminism, and this is going to keep dropping as far as my guess on. If it carries on, it'll be like that. So if it carries on, say 2025, it should be around there. Anyway, that's it for this one. I might do a Star Wars one this weekend, but sorry it's a bit late in putting this up. But as I said, I've been busy. So anyway, that's it, people. You know the routine. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe. Whatever you want to do is completely up to you. Till the next one. Bye-bye.